Hey everyone, welcome to another video from JP Tech. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the best case 4-core Intel scenario for Battlefield 5 running 64-man Conquest. I'm doing this using an 8600K with only 4 cores enabled, running at 5.2 gigahertz. Let's go ahead and see how it performs. So you're going to notice right off the bat, if you look at the statistics that I have up for you on the right hand side of the screen, toward the bottom you're going to see GPU core load, and of course the frame rate right below that. The GPU core load when using a 4-core processor for this scenario fluctuates anywhere from 60 to 100%. This is something that, using the presets and resolution that I use in this video, it's something you really don't see when you're using the full 8600K or the full 8700K when they're both overclocked. The 4-core setup like this, it's struggling on this bridge in this combat right here, and even at one point you'll see pretty soon that it hits as low as like 60 FPS, 60 something FPS. And it's really those fluctuations going from like 130 to 60 that just make it feel terrible. And realistically, this setup should probably be used with a frame cap to stop the huge swings in frame rate. So overall, I would say that this isn't the most ideal scenario if you're trying to game at high frame rates for a high refresh monitor. But it is something that overall is relatively smooth, and if you're trying to, if you have like a 60 hertz or even a 100 hertz display, you probably be alright for the most part, especially if you're the 60 hertz gamer. But again, this is also reflecting the best case 4-core scenario that you could have. So, you know, if you're running something like a Haswell or, you know, maybe even up to Skylake, your clocks might not be quite as high. And I would say, especially if you're on Haswell, your clocks are not going to be nearly as high, and just overall you're going to expect an even worse scenario than this. So basically, in sharing this video, I just wanted to address the best scenario that you'll basically see out of a 4-core Intel processor in this game. So really anything less, you can just expect less. And I'll probably dig into this a little bit more at some lower clock rates, but I don't want to, at this point, I didn't want to spend too much time on the 4-core setup because I need to get you guys 8700K results and 2700X results. So I don't want to spend too much time on this right now, but if you guys would like to see it, we can do something more like 4 gigahertz and see what the difference is in 4 cores between 4 gigahertz and 5.2 gigahertz. So that's something you guys will have to let me know in the comments. But overall, the gameplay, it was surprisingly smooth at first. I was like, you know, the 4 cores aren't too bad really. But then I started getting into combat and certain maps, like this map's a little bit more demanding, but certain areas of the map, certain combat builds up, and you quickly see the frame rate dive. There's a lot of scenarios where I stay well above 100 FPS using the full 8600K, where using only 4 cores, it just doesn't happen. Alright guys, this video goes on a little bit longer than I'm going to talk, but I'm going to leave you on the fact that in the upper left hand corner you can see the preset that I'm using for each individual clip that's in here, along with the resolution. This whole video is on QHD. There's going to be medium, high, and then there's I think there's one clip of ultra in here. And you know, keep the preset in mind when you're looking at the performance for each clip. I did forget on some of these clips to include the frame time graph at the bottom left hand corner of the screen, but it is on quite a few of the clips, and I just forgot to turn it on some of these, and I apologize for that. But one thing that you're gonna see very consistently is the graphics preset doesn't really affect the frame rate too much. It kind of affects the peak frame rates in certain scenes, but overall what you're going to see is lowering the preset just usually takes more load off the GPU because the CPU is still the limiting factor, and you're really not gaining much in the way of frame rate by doing such. It was definitely pretty interesting to see on Ultra how much the CPU could still limit it. You know, I know as you increase from medium to high to Ultra, you are producing more draw calls for the processor, but you're also putting more load on the GPU as well, which the frame rate is not going to want to go as high as it would as when it's on medium versus Ultra. So something to keep in mind. And if you haven't watched the 8600K video yet, I recommend that you watch that after this one, and you can see how much better it does on 6 cores versus 4 cores. There's the second map in this video that it's on right now actually is not in the other video, but the first map is, so there's at least some kind of commonality there, and both of these are running on 64-man Conquest, excuse me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to give me any of your, comments, thoughts, opinions, whatever in the comments. If you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe, and if you like this video, give me a like. Until then, I'll see you guys around.
Need ammo. Capture the objective!